أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين وبائث الأنبياء والمرسلين ثم الصلاة والسلام على النبي الأمي العربي الهاشمي القرشي العبد المؤيد بالرسول المسدد الذي سمي في السماء بأحمد وفي الأراضين بأبي القاسم مصطفى محمد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, respected brothers and sisters. Alhamdulillah, God gave us this tawfiq to get together in this holy session because it is dedicated to the words of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And once again, inshallah, we want to try to understand as much as we can, as much as our capacity allows us. Understand the words of Mawlana Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi in the book Nahj Ul-Balagha. In the this is our fifth session. In the previous sessions, we talked about generally about the Nahj Ul-Balagha, and then we talked about one of the most theological and philosophical sermons of the Nahj Ul-Balagha, which was the first sermon of Amir al-Mu'mineen, the Nahj Ul-Balagha. And we tried to somehow go deeper in understanding those lines of Amir al-Mu'mineen in the first sermon as much as we could do this. But for now, as I promised you, inshallah, we will jump to the next subject and the next sermon. We said that we want to talk about three different subjects in Nahj al-Balagha. Nahj al-Balagha, includes tens of subjects. But for us, for this sessions and regarding our time, we selected three subjects to talk about Nahj al-Balagha. First was the theological and philosophical subject, which was mentioned in the first sermon of Nahj al-Balagha. Now, inshallah, we will go to the one of the most ethical and spiritual sermons of Nahj al-Balagha, which is the sermon number 193, which is known as the Khutbatul Muttaqeen, the sermon of pious people. And then, inshallah, in the last sessions, we will talk about one of the political letters of Amir al-Mu'mineen in Nahj al-Balagha. In this session, we will talk about, inshallah, Khutbatul Hammam. Khutbatul Hammam. Hammam was, please listen carefully, was one of the companions of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Once he came to Amir al-Mu'mineen and said, and I'm reading the exact words of Nahj al-Balagha here, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم روي أن صاحبا لأمير المؤمنين عليه السلام يقال له همام كان رجلا عابدا. It is narrated that one of the companions of Amir al-Mu'mineen, which was called Hammam, who was called Hammam, and who was a very pious people and a man of worship, days and nights. He dedicated himself to worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَقَالَ لَهُ, and he told, and he said to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, O Amir al-Mu'mineen, Sif li al-Muttaqeen. This is the subject of this sermon. Sif, describe to me al-Muttaqeen, the pious people. Tell me and explain to me the virtues, the qualities of Muttaqeen, the pious people. Who are the pious people? حتى كأني أنظر إليهم. Describe to me that as if I'm looking at them, I'm seeing them. I want a very clear, crystal clear description of Muttaqeen. فَتَثَاقَلَ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامُ. That is beautiful. Amir al-Mu'mineen didn't want to talk about this subject to him, and it has a reason, and inshallah we will get to that reason. فَتَثَاقَلَ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامُ عَنْ جَوَابِهِ ثُمَّ قَالَ يَا هَمَّامُ. Amir al-Mu'mineen wanted to give him a very short answer. اتَّقِ اللَّهِ, be fearful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Guard yourself against sins. وَأَحْسَنْ, and do the good job and perform the good deed. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ مُحْسِنُونَ. And Amir al-Mu'mineen recited this verse of Quran, Allah is with those people. Verily, Allah is with those people who have taqwa and they are fearful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ مُحْسِنُونَ, and they do the good job, that they do the a'mal as-salih. فَلَمْ يَقْنَعْ Hammam. But this did not convince Hammam. He wanted more. He wanted a larger description, a more specific description from Amir al-Mu'minin. حَتَّى عَزَمَ عَلَيْهِ. He insisted and insisted until Amir al-Mu'minin decided to start talking clearly and specifically about muttaqin. And brothers and sisters, this piece of Nahj al-Balagha is a mind-blowing piece. This is really different. Amir al-Mu'minin wants to tell us here that if you claim that you are a muttaqi, you're a person that is mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just listen to these qualities and characteristics of muttaqin, and then analyze yourself, assess yourself, and see if you are really from those people, al-muttaqin. Here, Amir al-Mu'minin, he started describing muttaqin, started describing until when he ends his description, it is narrated that Hammam died. He could not bear this burden. He could not sustain this. And this is why Amir al-Mu'minin didn't want to tell him the exact definition and description of al-muttaqi, because he was really a good man. He knew that if this is the reality of the weight of being a muttaqi, so who am I? What am I doing? So this khutbah of Amir al-Mu'minin is really a great lesson and teaching for us. So inshallah, I will start talking about this khutbah. It's so beautiful. Every line of this khutbah is so beautiful. And inshallah, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that to help us to implement this, all the lines of virtues that Amir al-Mu'minin talked about here in this khutbah, to help us implement this in our daily lives, inshallah. Amma ba'd, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى, and I will inshallah recite the exact Arabic words of khutbah and then the English translation. Amma ba'd, فإن الله سبحانه وتعالى خلق الخلق حين خلقهم غنيا عن طاعتهم آمنا من معصيتهم لأنه لا تضره معصية من عصاه ولا تنفعه طاعة من أطاعه فقسم بينهم معايشهم ووضعهم من الدنيا مواضعهم. Now then, Allah the Glorified, the Sublime, created the things of creation. He created them without any need for their obedience or being safe from their sin. Allah doesn't need anything from us. He doesn't need our worship. He doesn't need our salat. He doesn't need our fasting. He doesn't need anything. And He is safe from our sinning. Our sinning does not harm Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the sin of anyone who sins does not harm Him, nor does the obedience of anyone who obeys Him benefit Him. He has distributed among them their livelihood and has assigned them their positions in the world. Okay. This is firstly about the hamd and thana, the glorifying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Amir al-Mu'minin goes to talk about what? The sifat al-muttaqin, the qualities, the characteristics of muttaqin. And he says what? Thus, فالمتقون فيها هم أهل الفضائل منطقهم الصواب وملبسهم الاقتصاد ومشيهم التواضع غضوا أبصارهم عما حرم الله عليهم ووقفوا أسماعهم على العلم النافع لهم. Who are the muttaqin? Look at the characteristics of muttaqin. Thus, the God-fearing means the pious people, the muttaqin people. And you know that God-fearing is not a good translation for taqwa or for muttaqi, but anyway. The God-fearing people in this dunya are who? Are the people of these distinctions. Their speech is to the point, as the translation says. Mantiquhum as-sawab. What does that mean? This is the first The first virtue of muttaqin, mantiquhum as-sawab. Amirul Mu'mineen says that one of and the first virtue and the first quality of muttaqin is what? Their talking is right. Sawab with sad in Arabic. It means what? It means the right thing. They tell the truth, and they're not just, they do not just tell the truth, but they also know what to say, where to say, when to say. Mantiquhum as-sawab. These are muttaqin. They care about the feeling of their audience. They care about the effect of their words. They care about the consequences of their words. Mantiquhum as-sawab. Look at our mantiq and talking. Sometimes we are really relentless. We care about nothing. You know, our words, our behavior, our talking, the way we talk to the people, sometimes it destroys our friends or our audience, whoever talks with us. Relentlessly talk to the people, to the parents, to the siblings, to the relatives, to the friends, to the teacher, to the student. Mantiquhum as-sawab. People are safe from their tongue. You know, one of the generators of sin in our body is where? Is tongue. Backbiting, lying, gossiping, blaming, alleging people. By what? By tongue. This is tongue. On the daily basis, we generate sins from this generator. So, the first quality of al-muttaqin is what? Mantiquhum as-sawab. So, let's leave the rest of the sermon. Just focus on this. Is our mantiq as-sawab? Is this how we talk to the people? Is this how we choose our words? Is this how we choose to be silent or to talk? Mantiquhum as-sawab. This is the first thing that we have to care about. In this fiqh, you know, before the next session, we may be able to focus only just on this quality of muttaqin. Mantiquhum as-sawab. Try for your talking and words to be sawab, to be right, to be truth, to be in time, to be in the right place, and the right time, with the right people. You don't need to talk to everyone in every time, on every occasion. You have to be very wise in choosing words and choosing the situation to talk about different issues and things. So the first thing for the muttaqin is what? Is mantiquhum as-sawab. Brothers and sisters, the tongue, the words, the speaking and talking is so important for anyone who wants to elevate in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot be just careless about your words and in the same time expect to be elevated in this path. No, it's impossible. It's impossible. So the first thing is what? Mantiquhum as-sawab. The second thing, وَمَلْبَسُهُمْ الْإِقْتِصَادِ. مَلْبَسُهُمْ الْإِقْتِصَادِ. And their dress. What does iqtisad mean? What does iqtisad mean? Iqtisad in Arabic means that when you leave and use the things that it doesn't cost too much and it's not worthless. It's somehow a moderation in life. You have to be moderate. So when you dress, you don't, if you are muttaqi, you don't dress in the way that all the people look at you and they start saying, oh, I wish I had this clothes. I wish I had this car. I wish I had this smartphone. I wish I had this thing and that thing. No, You're not, demonstrating your money or your wealth or your beauty or your dress. ملبسهم الاقتصاد. They are convinced with the ordinary kind of dressing and clothing, especially for sisters. We have to be aware of this. Islam never says that go out in a very bad kind of dressing, that everyone hates you and wants to keep distance from you. No, you have to be clean, even you have to be beauty, but al-iqtisad. We are mu'min, we are muttaqi. You cannot wear a dress, with I don't know the cost over there, with the thousands of dollars of worth. Is that true for a mu'min? Is that right to do that? ملبسهم الاقتصاد. And it's not just about the dressing or clothing. No, this is a way of life. This is a lifestyle for the muttaqi. Exactly the way Amir al-Mu'mineen lived. And we know that we cannot get any close to Amir al-Mu'mineen, but he is the uswa. He is the role model of us. ملبسهم الاقتصاد. So, منطقهم الصواب, they know to say, they know what to say and how to say and where to say. وملبسهم الاقتصاد. منطقهم الصواب وملبسهم الاقتصاد. ومشيهم التواضع. What does mashi mean in Arabic? It means walking. When you walk, Arab calls you mashi, the person who is walking, the gait, mashi in English. When they walk, they are very humble. They're not proud. They're not proud of themselves. They don't walk like they're, some angel from the sky, or who is the king and is one of the pharaohs of Egypt. No, he's very humble. Very humble. It is narrated that if you entered in the time of Rasulullah in the Masjid al-Nabi, you couldn't find Rasulullah. You couldn't find Rasulullah between people. What does that mean? It means that Rasulullah would not sit above them, would not dress, very specific, with a very specific dressing and different from others. No, he was like others. مشيهم التواضع. Be humble. We have to be humble. The person who is not humble is proud of himself. And the person who manifests and demonstrates this pride, he cannot be humble before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to be humble before people. You have to be humble with other mu'mineen and believers. So وَمَشْيُهُمْ التَّوَاضُعُ. They don't have tafakhur in Arabic. They have tawadhu. You can see this humility in their behavior. وَمَشْيُهُمْ التَّوَاضُعُ. منطقهم الصواب. ملبسهم الاقتصاد. وَمَشْيُهُمْ التَّوَاضُعُ. 3 qualities of muttaqin. And it comes from their iman, their belief and taqwa. These are not just, acting. This is real. Sorry, I don't know if you are hearing me. I had a connection problem.
Yeah,
you can hear me.
Yeah.
And you can see me?
Yes. All perfect.
Okay. So, ملبسهم منطقهم الصواب ملبسهم الاقتصاد ومشيهم التواضع. You see some people, they walk like the pharaoh, they're the king. Why? Some of them act in the way that you really are afraid of getting close to the person. Even some of the scholars, me, I walk like a person that I'm telling you with my body that don't get close to me because I'm coming from the Mars, yeah? مشيهم التواضع. مشيهم التواضع. You can get close to them. You can chill with them. You can befriend them. This is the reality of a muttaqi. And you know, today's lifestyle is completely against these qualities that Amir al-Mu'minin is giving to us. Mantaqum as-sawab, you don't need to be right in your words. In the social media, you can say whatever you want to say. You can blame everyone you want to blame. You can do whatever you want to do. ملبسهم الاقتصاد, no. We're on Instagram and every, the new model clothes and fashionable dressings, and you have to buy that. And even if you are a hijabi person, as English brothers and sisters say, if you wear hijab, even in your hijab, sometimes you do something so the people can know that you are wearing a very expensive abaya or the scarf or anything. So even if you are Muslim, you're trapped here. You have to be humble. But in the social media, who is humble? Everyone is saying, I'm the king. This is the problem. If we are really Muslim, if we are really the followers of Amir al-Mu'mineen, this is the words of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Why are you so arrogant towards other people? Why? What do you have? This is Amir al-Mu'mineen. He is the owner of everything in this universe. He was given everything from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he was so humble. Like his brother Rasulullah, as I said. You could not distinguish Rasulullah in the Masjid al-Nabi from other Muslimin. This is Rasulullah. And who are you when Rasulullah acts like that? And then Amir al-Mu'mineen says, غَضُّوا أَبْصَارَهُمْ عَمَّا حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ. And they lower their gaze, they close their eyes from everything is forbidden by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They do not look at what is haram to them. And you know, brothers and sisters, if we open the gates of our eyes to everyone that is coming to us, we will be damned, we will be destroyed, we will have no salat, no concentration, no piety, nothing. Because those images, they start, working in our mind, working. Even, especially when you are single and you're not married. And even if you are married, and they do not leave you alone. So in the salat, it pops up. When you want to go to sleep, it pops up. When you want to recite Dua al-Kumail, it shows up. Don't open the gates of your eyes to everything that encounters you, everything that you face. وَغَضُّوا أَبْصَارَهُمْ عَمَّا حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ. They do not open their eyes to everything, into anything. In the Instagram, everything, every image, every photo. Why are you there? Just browsing and searching for what? You know how bad this will affect on your mind? All those images and all those photos and all those videos. And sometimes you don't want to, see illegal or illicit or forbidden, photos or any other image. But sometimes you put yourself in a place in which you will absolutely see those things. So be careful. Be careful. In the Instagram, you don't need to, browse Instagram for day and for 24/7. Why? Why are you there? You're wasting all your time, and you're wasting and destroying your mind and your soul. And your soul. And we have to be pious. And Allah will give us the most brilliant, the most beautiful, the best thing, even in this dunya, if we keep our sanctity, our chastity. Okay. وَغَضُّوا عَمَّا حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ وَغَضُّوا أَبْصَارَهُمْ غَضُّوا أَبْصَارَهُمْ عَمَّا حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ وَوَقَفُوا أَسْمَاعَهُمْ عَلَى الْعِلْمِ النَّافِعِ. And they put their ears only to the beneficial knowledge. They don't listen to everything. This mind is not a trash bin. This is not a place of garbage. This is not a place of rubbish. Why do you listen to everything and to everyone? Why? Everyone who talks to, let's go listen to him. Let's go listen to her. Why? Amir al-Mu'minin says that dedicate your ear to the al-ilm nafi', the beneficial science, the beneficial knowledge. Why other things? Why you waste your time? You waste your power, you waste your capacity, you waste your ear. Look how much problematic our life is. This is our ears, our eyes, our tongue, our behavior, our dress, everything. You know, we've got everything wrong. وَوَقَفُوا أَسْمَاعَهُمْ عَلَى الْعِلْمِ النَّافِعِ. عَلَى الْعِلْمِ النَّافِعِ. You know why, brothers and sisters? The reason that Amir al-Mu'minin says that, yes, one of the reasons is that all those things are haram, many of those things. And many of those things that you want to listen, some of them are haram, and some of them is useless. But the reason is your mind accepts all the things that you give it through your eyes or through your ears. And when you want to concentrate, please listen, when you want to concentrate in salat, like you want to say Allahu Akbar, and before that you want to make your intention. Okay, we talked about this in the holy month of Ramadan, if you recall. You want to say Allahu Akbar. So before that, you have to feel and be mindful that you are in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It rarely happens. Yeah? Why? Because our mind is filled with rubbish, with garbage, with nonsense, useless concepts and images. So where those things are coming from? They're coming from through our eyes and our ears. You don't need to look at everything and to listen to everything. Yes, if you need that for your study, for your job, for your social interaction, that is okay. If it's not haram, that is okay. But above that, why you make busy all of your organs? Why? So al-ilm al-nafi', dedicate your ear to the beneficial knowledge. وَقَفُوا أَسْمَاعَهُمْ عَلَى الْعِلْمِ النَّافِعِ. So just, you can calculate. If you have done that through your life, how much knowledge could you gain, throughout these years and these times? وَقَفُوا أَسْمَاعَهُمْ عَلَى الْعِلْمِ النَّافِعِ. When you're not busy, and when you're done with your job and study and everything and everyone and your family, start listening to something beneficial. Recite Nahj Ul-Balagha, recite Quran, listen to a beneficial lecture. It helps you. It strengthens your spirit, your mind. So after that, you can concentrate before your salat. It brings the pure intention. But if you fill your mind with all those images and words, useless nonsense words and images, your mind will be collapsed. You cannot say your prayers. It becomes so hard, so hard. Sometimes it takes you 20 days, 25 days in the holy month of Ramadan to finally you can feel that, yes, okay, I'm free from those concepts, from those images and imaginations. But why? You lost 25 days of the holy month. You have to be fresh and ready from the day one of the holy month of Ramadan. So Amir al-Mu'mineen says, let's finish our session. He says that فَالْمُتَّقُونَ فِيهَا هُمْ أَهْلُ الْفَضَائِلِ. What are the qualities of muttaqun? منطقهم الصواب وملبسهم الاقتصاد ومشيهم التواضع غضوا أبصارهم عما حرم الله عليهم ووقفوا أسماعهم على العلم النافع. 5 virtues, 5 qualities for the first session for the muttaqeen, the pious people. Okay. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us this tawfiq to be with Amir al-Mu'mineen and to really follow Amir al-Mu'mineen in this beautiful steps of self-purification. Brothers and sisters, it is so hard to say, I am Alavi, I am Haydari, Na'ra Haydari, Salawat Haydari, okay? I am with Amir al-Mu'mineen, I'm the follower of Amir al-Mu'mineen, I love Amir al-Mu'mineen, I fall in love with Amir al-Mu'mineen, okay. But when it comes to the amal, to the deed, to the action, who is really the follower of Amir al-Mu'mineen? Is our mantiq as-sawab? Is our dressing al-iqtisad? Is our mash at-tawadu? Do we really abstain from the haram scenes? Do we really dedicate our ears to the al-ilm al-nafi', the beneficial knowledge? If we do so, okay, we can say that we are really a follower of Amir al-Mu'mineen. But if we are still so lazy to be a real practicing follower of Amir al-Mu'mineen, we have to be careful when we say that we are Shia of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa zid wa barik ala Muhammadin wa alihi wa tahar. اللهم اجعلنا من خلص الشيعة وموالي مولانا أمير المؤمنين عليه السلام والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Okay, we have a question
Yes.
here from Brother Imtiaz that says that it's a public chat. Yes, we hear too many speakers, but how we come to know which knowledge is nafi'? It is not so hard. You know, sometimes the speakers are talking about nonsense things. Yes, you can understand that. But if you mean that between the Islamic lecturers or speakers, I want to choose. First of all, many of them, really many of them, are serving the cause of Amir al-Mu'mineen and really giving people beneficial knowledge. But even between them, you can choose. By what? By studying. If you study more and more and more, you will feel that some of those lectures and talks will not convince you. So you look for something higher, for something greater, for something more beneficial. So the more you elevate yourself, the more you can figure out what is the real beneficial knowledge that people are presenting. Okay. If there is any question, I'm here to answer. And if there is no question, once again, I thank you, brothers and sisters, to be with me and listen to my words here. And I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us this tawfiq to continue these sessions and inshallah to implement these teachings of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Okay, so I think there is no question. So wassalamu alaikum